Welcome to Worldwide Tales, where real stories, real animals, and real hope come together.
We are your hosts, Jess and Kristen. And in every episode, we'll be taking you behind the scenes of global conservation and animal care.
Sharing field stories to chatting with frontline heroes, we're here to share voices and journeys that matter.
Let's dive in.
Welcome to the very first episode of Worldwide Tales.
We're so excited to finally share this project with you, a podcast that takes you behind the scenes of real-world conservation and veterinary work across the globe. You'll hear from people who've worked with rhinos, elephants, marine animals, stray dog populations, and more. It's real, raw, and full of heart. But before we dive into those conversations, we want to tell you a little bit more about ourselves and why we are doing this.
We're both current interns at Worldwide Vets, and we've created this podcast to spotlight a lot of the amazing work that is being done by the vets, the volunteers, and the wildlife professionals, and also to share the untold stories behind the headlines that maybe you might not see. My passion for animal care started when I was younger. I just always wanted to be around animals, so I grew up and started volunteering with animals, and I just naturally got into the veterinary nursing industry. But what really drew me to Worldwide Vets was the chance to see conservation from a global level. And it's been so eye-opening to connect with people around the world who are risking a lot to protect animals and ecosystems. We've not been doing this for very long. I don't know about you, Jess, but I've learned so much already from this process. And this podcast is one way that I want to share that learning with others.
I'm also a veterinary nurse and have always been fascinated by animal care, veterinary work, and conservation, especially the layers of conservation. I think it's incredible how our actions, big and small, can impact not just individual animals, but the people and the communities around them, and even influence the future of an entire species and ecosystem. So I think that's what we're really trying to capture here, is the emotional side of conservation, the bit that people don't really see, not just the numbers or the strategies, but everything behind that and the impact that we can have on each other, and also the responsibility that we share for our wildlife. When you applied for the internship at Worldwide Vets, what were you hoping to experience?
I quite honestly wasn't expecting much, not in a bad way. I think I tend to always go into things with no expectation. Obviously, I knew that I would want to help animals. I knew that I would want to help people. I knew that I'd want to be in conservation, which is obviously why I went for it. But in terms of the expectations, I tried to not expect anything. You tend to go into things with a lot of expectation. You meet like resistance, or you set the expectations too high or you set them too low. The expectation was to just learn.
I can definitely relate to that. I think if you set your expectations too high, then things are bound to go wrong, aren't they? And also, I think it's a new thing for both of us. So how do you know what to expect?
I mean, I've never been an intern. I've never been in an internship. So it's something that's new for both of us. Starting a podcast is new. Being in an internship is new. And being with a charity that is so dedicated to meaningful change is also new. So, we're doing a lot of learning along the way.
Definitely. Jump in with both feet.
Yeah, exactly. Dive head first. I don't even use my feet. I just dive head first. And then like a cat, I flip at the bottom. So far, what's one thing that surprised you about the internship?
Oh, probably the extent of which we're allowed to just go for it. I definitely thought that we would be somewhat micromanaged. They've really trusted us and have really included us as part of the core team and just let us run with it, which really surprised me, but has been a really welcomed surprise.
It has been a very nice surprise, I think, to be just welcomed so much, like with open arms.
Yeah, definitely. I already feel part of a team, and it's only been 3 months. What do you think has been the most challenging part?
Trying to separate the work from the home, obviously because it is a remote role, I find it very difficult to separate the two. So sometimes I'll be up until 12 o'clock at night, typing away on my keyboard, doing something that I've been doing all day since I woke up in the morning. It's been, I think, quite difficult to find the stopping point. But I think, again, that is part of the learning, and it is coming slowly, very slowly.
No, it's completely relatable though, and completely understandable, because when you're passionate about something, you want to give it everything, right? As well, you are a person and you have a life and you have a house, and you have to find that balance.
The way that people work, I think it is now changing to where more people do work remotely. So it's one of those things, like, it's such a good skill to have, like, to control that aspect of your life, because it's something that we've never done before, especially like being in the veterinary industry. You're always on the go, and you can kind of separate a little bit more work and home, because it's such a job that you have to be there to do. But obviously then with this, it's completely different.
It's too easy, isn't it, to sit in front of the screen for just hours at a time?
Yeah, it is too easy. I was looking at the fun and engaging moments thing. It said pump up, and I thought, what the hell is pump up? And then I didn't read the rest of it, and it says go to pump up song before a big challenge.
I don't think I have one.
A pump up song.
You have one? I don't think I have one. Does that mean that I'm always pumped up? I don't.
See, I love Ariana Grande, but she doesn't pump me up. So
yeah. Have you volunteered before in any setting?
I have volunteered before. It was a very long time ago. It was about 9 years ago. I went to Zanzibar and I worked with animals in Zanzibar. I also went to India and worked with animals in India. Love traveling now. Where's the best place that you've been to traveling?
Oh, I have been to Mexico, although I have a bit of a maybe an unpopular opinion that I think it's a bit overrated. My favorite place actually was Iceland, although I didn't volunteer with any animals there. What kind of animals did you work with in India?
In India, it was very like poverty stricken, and rabies is very prevalent there. So it was more domestic animals like cats and dogs, because the stray population is also really high. So I worked with the rabies mission, went around catching, stray dogs, stray animals, vaccinating them and doing sterilizations as well. So, which was really it was so hard to see. It definitely opens your eyes so much. I think we have it quite nice. In the UK, or in America, and we have our pets, and there's not a massive amount of stray animals generally. It is difficult to see. And then when you go to places like India or Thailand, or the conditions that not even just the animals are in, but the people as well.
Yeah, that's really true. It sounds like really routine work, but actually it's really critical to the populations there, sterilization, vaccination. I think a lot of it we take for granted. It's really quite necessary, a necessary foundation. That's a primary part of our role at Worldwide Vets, is to go out to these places and to provide that very routine foundational care.
If you'd have told me maybe 9 years ago when I went to those places that I'd be doing this right now, I would probably laugh in your face. But the main reason why I probably wouldn't have even thought that I could do something like this is because you feel like you need to be there to make a difference and make an impact. Whereas actually it's 2025 now, and you don't have to be physically there to make an impact, or to make a change, or to even support, or to raise awareness. You don't have to be there to do any of that.
I think it's a really good message for everybody listening from home or from work or in the car, wherever you might be, that actually you can get involved and help to make a difference too. You don't have to be the one that's directing a company or out in the fields. You can actually make such a difference just from being at home or being at work or being in the car, by every like, every share, every follow.
Even listening to podcasts like this, I listen to so many podcasts, and the amount of times that you listen to a good podcast and you just share it, that sometimes the most that matters. You don't have to be there. Have you got any plans to volunteer in the future?
have actually. As part of the internship with Worldwide Vets, we've been given this great opportunity to go on a project for 2 weeks. I'm actually going on the SOS wildlife course in South Africa, which is in a beautiful safari north of Durban. The project focuses on game capture and wildlife translocation and is really hands-on. So I'm hoping that I can extract a lot of content and lots of new things. I'm really apprehensive because it's my first long-haul flight on my own. It's actually in 2.5 weeks, so very soon, just around the corner.
Unfortunately, going separately, but that's fine
Yeah.
because it will just make it seem like we're just both together and you're just there with us for the ride. A bit of advice maybe for the flying that I could give to you would be, if you've not had a long haul flight before, then a little bit of advice from a pro. I'm joking, I'm not pro.
I'll take it.
I'm not pro. Get loads of Valium.
Well, to be honest, my other advice I've had was sleep deprivation. So
I've been on a few long haul flights and I never knew that until recently. Someone said, just don't sleep. And in theory, it sounds really easy, but I bet it's really difficult.
yeah, I bet it is too. Be quite smooth. The flight is 11 hours 15 and then a connecting flight, which is 1 hour and 10 or something. So providing there's no delays, it should be okay. But I do start to get a bit fidgety around the 4-hour mark. So that's going to be real fun.
Yeah, because I think like 4 hours is the cutoff point when it's getting into like past Europe, because like then you can get to most of Europe in 4 hours, can't you? So then it's like you're going out of Europe. And then it's when like the time zones changing the most too.
Yes, true.
So like it's the time zone that affects you more than anything.
I'm prepared to feel jet lagged, but I am really, really excited to meet new people and just get out there in the field and get some really hands-on practical work with wildlife. So we'll see how it goes. It's going to be my first experience working with large animals and wildlife. I am a small animal veterinary nurse, so it should be fun. It's going to be for a laugh, if nothing else.
Definitely an experience. What animal are you looking forward to seeing the most when we go?
Oh, do you know what? I would really actually love to see a zebra. I've been told we might see giraffe and ostrich just wandering by the camp, which is super cool. I love giraffes, but I would just love to see some zebra. I just think they're really cool. They're like a little donkey horse hybrid with stripy pajamas. Love that. I love everything about that.
When I think of a zebra, I always think of Madagascar.
Yes.
I just want him to sound like him from, what is he called? Marty.
Yeah.
I want the zebra to talk to me like Marty does from Madagascar.
Maybe after some translocation drugs.
Yeah. I can't wait to share the experience with everyone too, because it's not even just like we're sharing it between each other.
No,
we're sharing it with everyone who's going to listen to the podcast, everyone who's coming with us. So yeah, I mean, that's one thing to expect from this season in the podcast. You're also going to hear from different vets that are on the ground in South Africa and marine rescue teams that are fighting ocean pollution and all the other volunteers, you know, that are helping to stop the rabies outbreaks in coastal communities and different corners of the world where different people are fighting for the same cause.
And if you are interested in how it all began, we'll also be diving into the behind the scenes of Worldwide Vets, from wildlife capture in Africa to the wildlife organizations that are running in India, all the way through to the front lines of Ukraine, how it started, how it's run, and all of the really important integral parts that make it happen.
We're going to be talking to Dr. Gemma Camplin, who is the founder of Worldwide Vets, which is even more exciting. She started this whole charity, so it's amazing to just be able to talk to her and get her insights.
Not every day you can talk to the CEO of a non-profit,
which I think is going to be super exciting to not only hear all of these stories, but to be a part of them too.
Definitely.
We will be doing a raffle, which is going to be our fundraiser for the support of Ukraine to bring veterinary care, supplies, and help after the disaster that has struck.
In 2023, Worldwide Vets launched the very first mobile hospital in Ukraine in response to the war and in response to the number of people that were displaced. When people get displaced, unfortunately, it does mean that other things are displaced, such as diseases and illnesses. And we realized that we needed to do something about that. So this fundraiser will really, really highlight the awareness of this project.
We will leave the link to that also in the description below. Feel free to go and check it out.
If you can, just share it. If you can like it, if you can donate, absolutely every effort is appreciated, and really every penny goes towards the work for those animals in Ukraine.
And you are going to get some really cool stuff out of it. And I'm actually quite jealous. I feel like I might also buy a raffle ticket. I'm definitely going to get my family and friends to get one, if not on their behalf, on mine too, because we've got crocheted goodies, we've got, you know, hampers, we've got even a custom made portrait of one of your pets, which I think is absolutely amazing. I mean, I don't have a pet, but if I had a pet, that is something that I would 100% want. Like, I used to have ferrets, so
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, and here's my unpopular opinion: ferrets are like one of the coolest animals ever, but they just have a really bad rep, like, because they're stinky. However, they're really cute.
Yeah, I would like a ferret portrait, I think.
You could even get the portrait on a pet that you used to have.
Oh, definitely.
It doesn't have to be, you know, a pet that you have currently. It could be on a pet that you had in the past, or could even be a pet that you're buying in the future.
These portraits are pastel painted and completely handcrafted. They are absolutely beautiful. I've actually got one on my wall of my 2 cats. So I will definitely recommend that you enter the raffle just for that, if nothing else.
If you can't donate, that's fine. Sometimes life's difficult and we get that. If you can even just like, or if you are excited about what's coming up in the series, then one of the best ways that you can help us is by leaving us a review. It will really help more people find this show and support the causes that we're highlighting.
And as a little thank you, we've crocheted the cutest animal key rings, and we'll be giving one away each episode. All you have to do is fill out our short listener survey. It only takes 1 minute, and you will be automatically entered into the draw.
And the links are in the description below. Like we said earlier, this is our learning journey, and none of us have ever created a podcast before or spoke on YouTube. So we are more than happy as well if you want to leave any advice or any tips or suggestions. We are literally, you are welcome to leave any tips. Before we wrap up, we will leave you with this one little question. What is one wild animal that always inspired you, and why? You can let us know in the comments, or you can let us know on the survey, and maybe we will feature your answer in one of our future episodes.
We really want to hear from you, and we really, really appreciate you taking the time to listen to this episode, and we welcome you to Worldwide Tales. Thank you for being here.